Welcome to the segment where different stories and different experiences meet. Alhamdulillah, again, we have the three wonderful brothers with us. We spoke about their experiences, about Islam, how they accepted Islam, what made them interest and take interest in Islam. And we ended up with Dr.Sumanth, that you were saying that, you observed first time Muslims praying, and then you prayed first time after accepting Islam. You jumped from observing them that you are praying with them. There's a gap in between, but we will continue, or we will fill this gap. You're praying, you're in sajda, you're feeling that link between you and Allah Almighty. You felt that there's no one in the mosque except you and Allah. And you mentioned about your tears, coming out naturally. Okay, let's go back a little bit. You observing Muslims, I think you're reading the translation of the Quran that your colleagues gave you and invited you about Islam, and you're reading about Islam. What happened after that? Now you're reading about Islam. Don't you thinking now about your previous religion, about your father, your upbringing, and all these things? So can you elaborate on it?
Yeah, this is a very interesting question. Thanks for asking. The more, we know the first ayah, nazal, ikra, ikra, ikra. Read, read, read. Ikra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq. Read in the name of your Lord who created you. So, what reading enlightens us and makes us and take us out from jahiliyyah, from uneducated way, and we go towards light. So when I read more after my colleague gave the tarjuma Quran bil Inglesi in English translation, when I read more deep, then I realized, coming from a religious family, and also we were reading earlier the literature from Hindu, I realized a lot of similarities, but in the literature of Hindus like Vedas. But at the end, even they say that for Jannah, for moksha, salvation, we have to follow the last prophet. And it's documented in the last Veda, Athar Veda, is documented that the last prophet will come in the desert area, and his vehicle will be camel, and he will be immensely praised. That has been documented in Athar Veda, the Hindus' literature. And if you want moksha, salvation, Jannah, heaven, you have to follow his steps, his tariqah. So that made me struck me, and I was really inspired by that. And then we see Sirat al-Mustaqim, straight path, and I see the things in Quran which is very, very nicely documented, and we can see even scientifically, Professor Keith Elmore in 1983 in one of the universities, Saudi Arabia. He is one of the famous embryologists. He said, what I don't know 50 years ago, after reading Quran, I can see is true, being an embryologist. And this is documented 1,400, more than 1,400 years ago, subhanallah. And that time there is no mandar, there is no microscopes, there is no telescopes. How is documented? It's not a simple human being's words. It must be from the Almighty Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala's words. Yeah. And these all make me realize that Islam is not only one kalam of insan, word of human beings, is Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala's words. And Aqid, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala has given us as a guide, as a manual for us to learn for daily life. And it's not only about prayer or religion, it's about all complete way of life. Yeah. It's about economics, psychology, philosophy, and everything, complete life, alhamdulillah.
So this was while you're, when you're reading about Islam, you're realizing all these things, and then you accepted Islam. And then, of course, accepting Islam, and then you're practicing and everything. Quickly, if you can tell me, before I just go to the brother, the reaction of your family, quickly.
My mom, dad always support me, and that's the best part. When they are educated, mashallah, alhamdulillah, and they support us, it gives positive energy, and we can spread this ambience to our brothers, others brothers as well. Also, I met my brother in Canada last 2017, face to face after that first time, and then he said, "Okay, you are going to masjid, mosque." I said, "Yeah, I'm going to masjid," and his wife told, "No problem. I'm going to temple. You are going to church, cathedral, and he's going to masjid." So
Okay.
because and my colleagues from New Delhi and all those university professors, they are saying, is the faith what you believe you must practice.
So
That's
mashallah,
alhamdulillah.
yani, again, this is what's also very important, that the learned person, the open-minded person, he will just let you to just, you know, go with your own way, with your own choice, without giving you a hard time, without just, because I think those who really give hard time to the Muslim, you know, either family or friends, most of them they are ignorant, or just most of them they are just stick to their values without knowing the fact.
Right.
If I just come to, you know, Brother Alex, again, you now accepted Islam, you're a Muslim. What was, you know, the reaction of the family members, even though you said, but you never find any negative reaction from the family member?
There's been only a few cases of people that only one person in my extended family has ever confronted me directly about the religion, and really just with kind words. I was very respectful and very kind to the person, and they responded the same way. They responded in kind, and they say sorry. And the only reason this person confronted me was because of something they found on the internet. They just they receive, you know, whether they receive it through email or WhatsApp nowadays,
Mashallah.
or they see it on Facebook. Sometimes people read something and they think this is true. So they took something and they said, you know, this is what Muslims are, and they confronted me with this.
Mashallah. So I believe, mashallah, it was smooth with you. But let's come to Brother Joseph now. I don't know how smooth it was with you, but if you can tell us now, you accepted Islam.
Right.
Now you have family members, you have your, you know, the whole environment around you. You said you used to work in the military. I know, you know, it's sensitive. You know, people have, you know, different thought process. So can you just share the reaction of the family members?
My brothers, they were okay with it. I'm the youngest, and like I was known more to be level-headed, logical, and I didn't really get like out of all my brothers, I was the least one to get into trouble. Being on that note, my mother, she wasn't happy. I think it didn't really hit her because I took my shahada here, and you know, I called her shortly after and told her, you know, that, you know, I started looking into religion now and I've accepted Islam.
Okay.
And over the phone, you know, initially I think she was happy because, you know, like I told you earlier, I wasn't really into religion for several year. And when I went home to visit her, you know, with the beard, and you know, my wife is wearing the hijab, I think it shocked her a bit. So she wasn't really too receptive, and there was a bit of friction. We have to be respectful to our parents.
Yeah.
So I just, you know, was kind to her. And then when she came to visit Kuwait, I had materials in my home, and without me pushing it on her, she took something off the coffee table and she started reading it.
Okay.
And you know, she came to me and she said, you know, this is the same things that we believe. It's not exactly, but you know, I feel so much better, like, because I didn't really know what you believe, and she didn't really listen to me when I tried to explain it. But when she read it for herself,
mashallah,
she was okay.
Honestly, I'm speechless, because really, all of your family, you know, I'm really proud of your family, because alhamdulillah, may Allah reward them, may Allah bless them. This is what we want, like, you know, that, again, the understanding it comes number one, right? You know, the freedom of choice, of course, in a good way, not freedom of choice in a bad way, right? So freedom of choice, I'm sure your family member, those who are non-Muslim or not Muslim yet, they're looking at you, a good example. So you stop drinking, you stop partying, you stop doing anything bad, gambling, all the bad things stopped. and they are looking at you, you become a good human being, you have a family, you're trying your best to upbringing your children and all these things. So I believe, mashallah, this is a good example of all the family members. May Allah reward you and may Allah reward your family members. And inshallah ta'ala, we will continue in the next episode. Respected brothers and sisters, dear viewers, inshallah ta'ala, we will continue with our wonderful brothers in the next episode. By then, we will shift to another segment. Stay with us, inshallah.